Welcome back to Memphis here at AutoZone Park. It's Premier Rugby Sevens. We're here all day and there's been some fantastic sevens plays so far. This is the inaugural championship. We've got four women's teams here and 6 men's teams. We're getting down to the final calculations on who's going to be playing for hardware later on today. And Madison Hughes, it's been lots of different looks so far, the men's side and the women's side. What's your take so far on day one?
Yeah, lots of really good rugby. I think there has been some insecurity of maintaining possession. I think a lot of that stems from just these players haven't had that much time together. But there's also been such incredible, enterprising, attacking, free-flowing rugby sevens. And I think these teams really came out here. They were looking to have some fun. They were looking to entertain the crowd and have a really good time. And that's what they've done. And that's been really fantastic to watch. And
for a lot of these players that have been sitting at home for COVID, the Olympians haven't got to play since they were down in Tokyo. So everyone wants to be playing ball right now.
Definitely. I mean, the year before the Olympics, we had like 2 tournaments, barely got to play. So I think really relishing the opportunity to go out and play some games. And then for the World Series players, when you're playing on the World Series, every game, every moment is just so critically important that I think having the opportunity to go out and express yourself is something these guys are really enjoying.
Well, express themselves indeed. The women are here. Both these teams have 2 wins coming into this. The headliners in the pink and yellow jerseys and the Loonies in the white jerseys. So they will be playing for the hardware in the inaugural championship. This game is just the final match of the round robin, and really they just want to make a statement to each other before they get to playing for that hardware.
Really interesting. Not often you have this sort of double match where the first time you get to put a little marker down, show where you're at, but you don't want to give away all the secrets in this one. But both teams, they're all competitive athletes. Once you step foot down the pitch, you want to win. You want to get your own over the other team. So I think this is going to be a really good one, but also, as you said, a really good dynamic to watch for putting forward before the final.
Headliners kicking us off. The low flat one. Gathered immediately. Quick tackle. But the ball's popped out. The second supporting player was too slow to get there for the Loonies. So it's the headliners off and running. Got options midfield. They've looked really good on the ball. Nice passing. Well-balanced team. Late drop. Just meters away again. Lots of communication. That's a looping pass, which is going to put her teammate under pressure. Now they can't get the ball to Naya Tapper. It just flirts with the touchline there, but Tapper breaks the tackle. She's got the power, she's got the pace. Naya Tapper, for not the first time today, puts the headliners on the scoreboard.
Naya Tapper doing really well. You thought the headliners had blown their chance. They did so well getting the ball down inside the Loonies 5-meter line, but just not great handling. Loonies put them under a little bit of pressure, but headliners didn't do a good job. Ball bouncing, but Naya Tapper really strong. Core stability really good. So when Sarah Levy came up, she had a pretty good position for the tackle, but Naya just shrugging her off and then going in for the try.
Yeah, Sarah Levy will want that one back.
And Sarah Levy's really impressed me today. I think she's played very well, but yes, she will wish she could have had a bigger impact at the start of that match there.
Well, like Sarah Levy, Naya Tapper has 3 tries today. They will be the leading scorers in the women's competition, the 2 of them. See if Levy can get it her own back after that little mistake. And a mistake it is from the headliners, who don't kick the ball 10 meters off the kickoff. So a free option at midfield for the Loonies. Let's see what they choose here. What do you reckon at this stage, Madison?
Yeah, I mean, once it gets so slow like this, it looks like they're going for a set play. So this is something they've trained before. You've got 2 players sitting behind, one of whom's Alev Kelter, who is always dangerous with ball in hand. But it's tough in such a limited time to set up elaborate set plays and just get the timings of the lines right is really difficult. So for me, it's either scrum or quick tap would be the best options.
So they ran a move, didn't really come off. They're actually 10 meters back from where they started. The Loonies in the white jerseys. They win the penalty at the breakdown. Headliners not rolling away. Quick, positive play here. Good offload. This is good play. It just doesn't go to hand and it's spilled.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. The Loonies had worked the headliners really well. After they went back 10 meters, they went through a couple phases, pulled numbers across, and sevens is often a game of numbers. If you pull a certain number of defenders to one side of the field, there are going to be options on the other, and getting right down the sideline, you thought they might be in with a half break at the very least, but just ball not quite going to hand, and little accuracy issues, and these two teams have been the best on the women's side at diminishing those and minimizing those so far, but creeping in a little bit in this early going.
Joe Asumang, the Nova player, couldn't quite hold on to that one. Great to see female referees in the middle too, controlling referees at the Olympics and obviously here.
Absolutely, and in one of the men's matches there were women's referees in that. So I think that's a fantastic part of PR7s, is the parity between men's and women's, the equal showcasing, because it's only going to do the good things for Rugby Sevens and rugby in the United States and North America.
Speaking of good things, Naya Tapper goes in and out, but she's being chased by Levy, perhaps the only one in the stadium who would have enough pace to catch her, but even she had to give up and just, I guess, settle with keeping her out wide to make the conversion tougher.
Amazing wing play from Naya Tapper. She uses her footwork just to sit the opposite defender down, make her think that she had to stay where she was, a little double step, and then she's got speed to burn, and Naya Tapper on the outside going off for a well-needed rest after her early going. Naya Tapper is such an incredible talent. I think has had criticism in the past because she can get tired early in games. Being able to sustain that, and that's not easy to do. It's very difficult as a wing player to make repeated 60, 70-meter sprints. So something Naya Tapper's got a lot better at over the years, taking a little break here, and then she'll come back out fresh and be able to have impact in the second half.
Debuted for the Eagles back in 2016. She's got 16 World Series events. That woman also an Eagle. Alev Kelter, she needs to do something to get her team back into this game. They're down by 10 points. And she's made a pretty good start of it here. Bounced off 2 tackles. The penalty there as the player in the pink jersey was offside, not at the back foot of the tackled area, the ruck. Quick tap. Going to ground is Pers. Kelter wanted the inside ball, she didn't get it. And the headliners again not rolling away at the tackle. So a little bit of momentum here for the Loonies. Less than 2 minutes to go in this first half. And they've chosen the scrum. And Madison, what's the benefits of choosing a scrum versus a free kick penalty?
So scrum ties in a lot of players, and especially a scrum like this, which is quite near to the sideline. This means that you've got a lot of players in a condensed area. So for the players that are outside the scrum, your backline players, who often your best players one-on-one, they've got that space where they can pick out an opponent and say, I'm going to try and beat you one-on-one in 10 meters either side of you. Can you stay with me? Can you defend me? Which is something that is very difficult to do in sevens.
So it goes out wide. Kelter breaks 1 tackle, but she's brought down. Another offside penalty. I wonder if the referee may even look to a yellow card with the repeated infringement. Now it's route 1. Just a big bosh from Woolley. A powerful run from her, but she's penalized for not releasing.
Really good job there by the headliners. When you're going backwards, when you're having to retreat, it's really hard to get around and get on the ball, but the headliners doing a fantastic job there of, as soon as the Loonies player hit the ground, they were on in a low, stable, strong position, latched onto the ball. And the Loonies slightly slow in their support. They'll be disappointed with that, because when you've got that momentum, you need to keep it going. You need to keep the other team, keep that snowball rolling down the hill, and it can be very difficult for the defense.
So the headliners choosing, as they had a penalty, to kick to touch, and they will get the throw in at the lineout. That one was not straight. It has to go down the middle of the tunnel. That was an easy call for our referee.
Unfortunate for the headliners, but yes, as you said, very easy for the referee. She's standing right there. She knows, she can see exactly if it's not straight, and just want to keep it straight so there is a fair competition for the ball. And it's always interesting how referees will allow that. I think on when you're lifting, it's obvious, because if someone doesn't compete, they'll give you a little more leeway. But on those flat throws down the front, you really do have to throw it right down the middle of the channel.
So scrum opportunity. Hands on the ball is Pers. Again, Kelter's the damage causer, powering through the middle. Look at all those pink jerseys that had to come and deal with Alev Kelter. That should create opportunities out wide for the Loonies. Kelter deciding nothing's on out wide. Short offload 2-on-1 on the blind side. Show and go. Sofia Perez, the 25-year-old, playing with her head up and sees that the option is on for her.
Yeah, Sofia Perez doing a fantastic job of just seeing at the breakdown there was no one in that pillar guard sort of channel right next to the ruck. And as the scrum half able to pick across, and she was waiting to see if that last defender would bite in on her, but the defender has to respect that last attacker, and so able to pick through, and it's a simple try once she spots that gap.
Well, great to see the Penn State grad playing with her head up there, and so often the case you take what the defense gives you, and they gave her a little gap there.
Nothing complicated from the Loonies. They maintained possession, they went through phases, and sevens can be a very simple game when you do that.
And that'll do it for the first half here. Despite sort of some dominance from the headliners, the Loonies still in this match, 10 points to 5. We'll be back here in Memphis for Premier Rugby Sevens. Welcome back to Memphis. It's the final match of the women's round robin here. It's part of Premier Rugby Sevens. The headliners and the Loonies are playing. That kick goes straight into touch. They'll come back midfield, an opportunity for the headliners. And we've mentioned both these teams with 2 wins under their belt so far from the morning action. They're going to choose a scrum here. So we've had a little bit of gamesmanship, I suppose. Currently the headliners up 2 tries to 1. Andrew Locke, the coach of the headliners, maybe resting a few players, as are Kelly Griffin and Robin McDowell, the Loonies coaches. There's a question here, how do you manage your resources? We saw Naya Tapper, for example, have some big long runs. With a final to play with Harbour on the line, you want to keep back some of those resources.
Yeah, I think it's definitely an interesting question, but it's always a tough one in sevens. It often gets asked as you get towards the end of the pool, like, do we conserve or do we maximize every game opportunity? And this is slightly different because these are the same teams that will be going on, but you never want to arrest your momentum too much. When you've got something good going, you kind of want to keep it going. But yes, the headliners will definitely think we don't need Naya Tapper doing too many 70-meter runs in this game. We'd rather save those for the next one.
This is a 15s match. You might send a few of your goon types in there to rough it up a little bit and soften up the opposition for the final. Not the way in sevens. Midfield scrum there. They're flowing left to right. That pass to no one out the back door. Pounced on, but stolen. And it's good defense from the headliners.
Yeah, poor loose offload. They got some good momentum. There was a good drive forward in the tackle, and you don't want to throw an offload to no one. Like, you ideally want to see the offload, but for some of these offloaders who operate at higher levels, they instinctively know where their support runners are. But you have to know where that support runner is, and you have to hit them, because throwing a poor offload just to the floor often puts your team in a really bad position.
And you see the assistant official's flag there, his touch flag. The wind is just picking up a little bit, so we'll see if that becomes a factor. I know Bree had a comment on that earlier, noticed it pitch side. Keep an eye on that. Right now the headliners are riding the headline. Their 3rd try in impressive fashion. It's a simple set piece off the line out. They ran across the face, and the Loonies were found wanting in defense.
Yeah, did a really good job there. The Loonies defense kind of fragmented. They had what we call a dog leg, because their outside defender came up higher than their inside defender. So that opens kind of a vertical gap as opposed to what we might think of as a horizontal gap. Running through that and then just able to find the support runner with pace to burn, too fast for the covering defense.
So outstanding start to the second half for Andrew Locke. Whatever he said at halftime, got a result.
Andrew Locke, a veteran of the West Point program at Army. And a solid program there. Unfortunately lost today to Dartmouth, unfortunate for them, but a very good program at West Point.
Wondering how long before the green got a mention here. And lots of rugby going on this weekend. Best of luck to the Canadian and U.S. Eagles men's teams in World Cup qualifying. Big games for both programs. Such growth in the game. Sevens has been a big part of that, bringing new families, bringing new eyes on the game, new sponsors, and it's a big piece of it. And PR7s is very much part of that. Keep your eyes open for next year, and we'll see some more events. There's a kick and chase. We mentioned players being rested. That was Delaney Atkins, who's been off the field for the first half. She's now on. for the Loonies, trying to make up this deficit. The looping pass out wide, no room to move in. Lots of pressure in midfield. Good offload out of the tackle. Now there's options. 2-on-1, whole field to cover. Squaring up, good flat pass. The crowd are loving it. And that's a good finish from the whole team. It started with team defense, and in the end, it was a long run in. Great stuff from KJ Johnson.
Yeah, KJ, a really physical player, but showing she has the pace there too. Veteran of the USA Sevens program, and she's known for her thunderous tackles. But here has the pace to finish off a good team move from really far out from the headliners. And they're putting their stamp on this match. They're putting their mark down for the Loonies, and the Loonies are going to have to watch this one back, say what do we need to do to get better, because the headliners are showing right now we've got you, and you're going to have to match us.
Yeah, the 29-year-old enjoyed that one. She gets a well-deserved drink. As you mentioned, often she's the physical presence. This time, she's running them in from the outside. And if it's any precursor to the final, the Loonies' defense is a little bit fragile at times. It breaks down quite quickly, and I'm sure coaches Griffin and McDowell will try and sort that out come the final. Restart received by the Loonies. And there's a little pushing off the ball, I think, what the penalty is going to be. So, quick tap from Pers. Fully stretched are the headliners in defense. Boom, big hit there. And a roll. Flat ball out wide. Again, lots of big tackles here. With some sore bodies. This is the third game of the day for both these women's teams as part of the Premier Rugby Sevens. Aiken steps away from one, goes right through the middle. Couldn't get the offload there in time, but a nice break for her. Gives the Loonies the momentary advantage. Again, lots of wrestling. That's a penalty. The player in the pink jersey coming up the side of the ruck.
Yeah, Muskizi just thought the ball had come out of the breakdown, so thought she was allowed to come around the side. The referee deeming the ball was still underneath the rucking player's feet, and so there's still an offside line.
Aiken's running backwards with 30 seconds to play. Perhaps he was thinking there was a little bit less. He was going to kick it off the field. I'm with you is the call. Is she going to need anyone? She's just a meter short. And there is the try. It's going to be a little bit too little, too late. But at least it's a positive action heading into the final.
Yeah, Naya Tapper doing really well, just following up the try, and that's just support play, and that's what the Loonies need to do. Nothing complicated, maintain possession, go through phases, and you'll be able to work these defenses. But earlier in this game, just trying to force some offloads, trying to force things a little bit, and so much of sevens. I mean, you can score some great tries forcing offloads, but over time, you've got to play the percentages, and that's going through phases and maintaining possession.
So Taufua gets the last score. These two teams will meet again, and they know what's on the line, so handshakes for now. But this battle will be re-waged in a little bit here. Thanks for joining us here in Memphis. It's been great action at Premier Rugby Sevens. We've got lots more to come. This one was the headliners 22, the Loonies 10. We'll be back in Memphis.